Did Chris Sims glaze Jaxson Dart? Yes, he did. And can I just say this? I'm willing to put my 95% accuracy rating on the line, and honestly, it should be higher. Because I was right about the Chiefs not three-peating. I was right about the Denver Broncos winning over 5.5 games. That's what the line was in Vegas, 5.5 at the start of the season. So 95%, it's actually my accuracy rate is actually much higher than that. And I'm willing to put it on the line for this prediction here. Jaxson Dart, I don't care what his measurables are. I don't care how far he can throw. He is not better than Brock Purdy. He will never have a season like Brock Purdy's 2023 season. That is my prediction. Why? For a lot of reasons. But if I'm being honest, a lot of it is the lack of quarterback face. Show me a top quarterback lacking in quarterback face. It doesn't mean you have to be classically handsome. Like Peyton Manning, maybe not classically handsome, but he looks like a quarterback. Eli Manning, he kind of looks like, he kind of looks dour a lot of times, Eli Manning. But he clearly has, he looks like a quarterback. Jaxson Dart looks like, like a villain on Peaky Blinders. You know what I mean? He does not look like a quarterback. So I'm willing to put my 95% plus accuracy rating on the line. I do not believe Jaxson Dart will be as good as Brock Purdy. I don't care how far he can throw. I don't care what his 40 time is. I don't care. I don't care. He will never be as good as Brock Purdy. That is my prediction.
I don't know.
This guy says Jaxson Dart looks like John Elway.
That's fair. What the f*** is wrong with you? Get in your car, dude. Get in your car! I'm in my car. That's fair. Can you...
Jaxson Dart looks like the bad guy in an 80s romantic comedy. Okay, so I'm putting my 96% accuracy rating on the line. I do not believe in Jaxson Dart at all. I don't care what his numbers say. Same with Tanner Mordecai. I was right about that when Larry Krueger was glazing Tanner Mordecai. Remember that? Like, he's a sleeper. I'm like, he looks like an insurance agent. He doesn't look like a sleeper. He looks like an insurance agent. Jake Haener. Remember Jake Haener from Fresno State, I believe? He was like, he's going to be the next Brock Purdy. I said, he doesn't look like the next Brock Purdy. He looks like he looks like somebody from Bakersfield. He looks exactly like you would expect someone from Bakersfield to look like. Who's the other one? There's another one in New Orleans. Not Jake Haener. There's somebody else in New Orleans that everybody else was glazing. I was like, So based on quarterback face alone, I'm going to say Jaxson Dart. I'm sorry, Chris Sims, you're wrong. I'm going to go against Chris Sims' analysis based on quarterback face alone. He's got no shot. Okay?
Now,
all right, let's see what Colin Cowherd has to say about Brock Purdy.
Rumors, was offered $45 million was the offer the Niners made. And that is exactly what he should be paid. 12th, 13th best quarterback in the league. $45 million.
I honestly don't have a big problem with $45 million. I was reading 49ers Reddit, and they seem like insulted on Brock Purdy's behalf. But I think $45 million is fine. My prediction was $45 million plus special effects. So Brock Purdy's agent isn't embarrassed. So that gets him somewhere around 50 plus. Long term, if they want $60 million, they can get $60 million. But the team wants the team needs an escape hatch. You can't be locked in the way the Cowboys are locked into Dak. You need an out.
If he had a bad defensive coach and a bad set of weapons, he really would be Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback. But he doesn't. He has Kyle Shanahan. Arguably, after Andy Reid, the best play designer in the league.
I love Kyle, but I don't know if it's fair to say that Kyle is still one of the best play designers in the league. I have no life, so I watch all the games, and I see a lot of creativity around the league. That doesn't mean that Kyle is bad. It just means that, like the iPhone, right? The other companies catch up to you, and you have to continue innovating. So I think we'll see more of that from Kyle this season, hopefully. Now that he's had some time off, because they've been making some deep playoff runs the last couple of years. It's easy to just keep doing what you're doing when it's leading to that. So hopefully the failures of this last season will force him to do some more innovation. But I don't think it's fair to say like Brock's numbers are propped up by Kyle's creativity. That's what I mean to say. Sorry, that took me a while to get there. That's what I meant to say. Is I don't think it's fair to say Brock's Purdy's numbers are inflated because of Kyle. They're good because of Kyle, but I don't think that he's like propping him up the way Tua has been propped up.
George Kittle was the number 1 rated tight end on PFF. Jawan Jennings was the 13th best tight end or receiver, and they won 6 games. Last year has a great play designer, but they were missing their star running back, and they won 6 games.
They won 6 games because they had the worst kicker in football, like an outrageously bad kicker. They would have won the Arizona game. They would have won the 2 Rams games. Come on. They would have they could have won 8 or 9 games with a replacement level kicker.
So if my $45 million feels right, if you go look at his splits against elite playoff teams, they're not very good. I mean, Josh Allen's the MVP. He's making $44 million a year. $45 million feels right. So, again, too many fans think contextualization is hate. I've never hated Dak Prescott.
I hate Dak Prescott.
What I tried to always do with Dak Prescott was contextualize it. He is not to be paid close to Mahomes because he's not close to Mahomes or Lamar Jackson.
I agree, but guess what? Drake May is about to be paid Mahomes money. Caleb Williams is about, believe it or not, Caleb Williams is going to get what Mahomes is paid right now. This is like, my grandma gets upset when Cracker Jack, Cracker Jacks cost like over $1.25. She's like, what? I can't believe it costs over $1. Yeah, it's called inflation. I don't know if that's inflation. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. Things are more expensive in the future. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I mean, I don't think he's as good as Jalen Hurts. And we've all sort of had some questions about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't come.
Okay, but Jalen Hurts, that's a great example there. Jalen Hurts, right? A lot of people are like, I can't believe you paid Jalen Hurts that money, blah, blah, blah. So did it hinder their ability to build a great team? No. And nobody, until they won the Super Bowl, nobody was arguing. Now everybody's like changing their tune. Like, I always like Jalen Hurts. But the national media, the local media, were trashing Jalen Hurts. Now that he's won a Super Bowl, he's great. But the point is, at the time, they couldn't believe it. Like, oh, why are you paying Jalen Hurts this much money, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It's fine. It's fine. Because the salary cap goes up. What I care about is the percentage of the salary cap. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about percentage of the salary cap, not the number. The number doesn't matter. But too many fans confuse context for hate. Nobody hates Brock Purdy. Good kid. Rich Madrid hates Brock Purdy.
$45 million to Brock Purdy. I don't know what happened in the last year. That became an insult. What? $45 million for the last guy picked in the draft who has a losing record and bad splits against playoff teams with 2 elbow injuries.
That's fair. One of the things I like about Justin Herbert is he can take a hell of a beating. You hope that as he gets smarter over his career, you would hope that as he gets better at reading defenses, that won't happen as much, but he can take a hell of a beating. Josh Allen can take a hell of a beating. Brock, certainly I don't want him to. Get rid of the ball. Dink and dunk. I think the dink and dunk criticism from the local 49ers media really got to Brock and Kyle. They really no, we're not dink and dunkers. We can sling it. That really got to them. Hopefully they because it was starting to look like Mike Martz's offense. You know what I'm saying? Like just getting the quarterback killed.
Surgery and $45 million is an insult. And I love Sam Darnold, but I'd struggle paying him $45 million. He's bigger. He's got a better arm. He moves better. And he's a first-round pick. And I couldn't pay Sam $45 million. Now, I will say this. I don't think quarterbacks are as hard to find today as they were 15 to 20 years ago. I mean, you found Brock Purdy as the last pick in the draft. So I think Kyle McCord at Syracuse, who will get drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round, is going to end up being a franchise quarterback for somebody. I mean, Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick. There's a lot of good quarterbacks out there. Never been more good young quarterbacks.
I don't know about that. C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, Jimmy Garbaggio, Trey Lance. And that's the genius, Kyle Shanahan, and the great GM, John Lynch, picking those guys. Maybe it's not so easy. It's not so easy. How's Tanner Mordecai doing? How's Jake Haener doing?
Now, I will say this. I don't think quarterbacks are as hard to find today as they were 15 to 20 years ago. I mean, you found Brock Purdy as the last pick in the draft. So I think Kyle McCord at Syracuse, who will get drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round, is going to end up being a franchise quarterback for somebody.
Kyle McCord is going to be a franchise quarterback. Let me see. Let me just refresh my memory real quick. Kyle McCord. Does he have quarterback face? Kyle McCord to me has he said, she said allegations face. And by the way, let's talk about this. Anthony Edwards doesn't want custody. He's not fighting for custody over his kids. He doesn't want custody. He doesn't want visitation. He's like, it's fine. Whatever. Take your money and like leave me alone. Which is honestly, I've never understood when guys get so mad about like visitation. Like, oh, I'm the father. Rah, rah, rah. Like, what? Why would you want more work, dude? What are you talking about? Like, I remember when my ex-girlfriend told me that she had gotten, an abortion. I was like, oh, wow, man, that's terrible. But in my head, I was like, really? I was like, thank God. I really dodged. But outwardly, I was like, oh, I wish you told me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, whew, thank God. Can you imagine me as a dad? That would be rough.